So we gapped down overnight, and pre-market were trading around 279s from a close of 282s on Friday. So everything gapped down, including the airlines, the travel sector. And part of the daily watch list was RCL. And I was actually long biased on the stock as long as we can hold this 3740s level. And once we hold at the market open, we see SPY starting to bounce, and that's why I started in short. And once we confirm we're really, really strong, after I scaled out some a little bit, I immediately added back into full size, where because I see a lot of upside towards the $41 level, or at least to, maybe 40, 80s, and even more. You can see the best executions was the first trade right here. And again, after I started going back, I did give back some on the second trade and then made some back on the third bounce play. So, usually my first few trades are the best for the day, and I tend to give back a little bit more. But, I still see more opportunities, so I don't regret going back. It's just when I go back, I'm slower to add back in. Because just like my APDN trade, I added back. And because I see a lot more meat on the bone, right? APDN, this is a short play, and it's actually a stock I played so many times in the past before. I played it here, 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 and over here. So it's a stock I'm pretty familiar with and I'm comfortable trading. You can see we started gapping up pre-market. Volume was extremely high. We traded about 2 million shares pre-market before the open. And, it actually ran to a high of $13. When I'm shorting and jumping in on the front side, it's always with a really small starter size. And also this is pre-market, we haven't even opened yet. I was thinking we're gonna actually touch $14 area and before we started to give back the gains. And so I waited patiently at the market open. I didn't want to add too big pre-market. I want to be able to react to the price action. And once we started rejecting the pre-market highs, that's where I started scaling in short. You can see, I started in pretty early on, short size around $12 area. And once we immediately tank below VWAP, and that's why I covered some piece, but I want to add on the bounces. And, we never really bounced back that high. And that's why I cover more, and I keep on adding back because, I want to add to my winners, especially there's so much meat on the bone. And that was essentially what I was trying to do with RCL, but that trade was on the long side. You can see, I, added back a couple more trades short around 1080s, and later on the last add was about 990. Covered at a double bottom here because I was seeing that we're starting to reclaim. We might retest $11 area because after all, it's a low float stock. It doesn't take much buying momentum to bring it back up again. So I didn't want to get caught if that happens, if we have a squeeze that come out of nowhere like we've seen with a few other low float stocks like YTEN and CAPR last week. So just want to protect my profits. And, if it pops back to retest 11s, I can always reattack it with a clear head. But we never did, and we just kind of gave back everything and back to $9 at the end of the day. But overall, this is a very, very clean trade for me. The other one, the smallest trade, because I was focusing on RCL and APDN, is INO. So this is one of the stocks that's on my weekend watch list. And on the weekend watch list, I specifically said to watch the $10 area, right? Why? And if we hold that $10 area, we can have a very nice daily bounce setup. And I actually didn't see it until somebody in my Discord chat alerted me to it. Not giving me buy alerts, they're just giving me ideas, right? They're saying, hey, INO, the stock, it's starting to go red to green. And this is a textbook red to green trade. After we held $10, we break above previous day close, and now we're green on the day, right? After selling off for 4 or 5 days. What technically due for a bounce? How high? I have no idea. All I know is there's some resistance around $11, so I want to make sure I at least take some profit. I didn't know if we're gonna go to 12 or 13 or 14. All I know is, there's a trade here and I want to join on the long side. And I always want to make sure I sell some on the push, especially when we went from 10 to 11 so quickly. INO is a high institution ownership stock, so it's not a low float penny stock. So I want to be, cognizant of where I'm taking my profit, and I'm starting to see big sellers stepping in at $11. So that's why I sold the rest of my position. Hello, had a pretty nice start. So Wayfair reported earnings and the stock literally went all the way to 184s. It's really scary to jump on the front side to short the stock. So I didn't want to be early. I want to slowly scale in once we're confirmed that we're breaking down. And the reason the stock really squeezed really from 150 all the way to 180 is because of the high short interest. Ever since up here, you remember the last time I shorted was over here on this day. The short just been shorting from $20 all the way to now 180, and I think we're now at all-time highs. We'll get some more follow through, I think maybe to a downside tomorrow, we'll see. But they beat on earnings, but whether that justifies the price increase of basically 20 all the way to 180 within 2-3 months, I don't know. So we're gonna have to see how the price action plays out. But I was more short biased on the stock, just in terms of risk reward wise, and the stock, the run up was during pre-market too. But I want to scale in short slow. Scale in some, right at the open, just because we're not really pushing towards new highs to retest 180s. And once I'm in, I want to slowly let it work. And once it breaks down and it confirms that we cannot hold the highs, that's why I started adding in. And you want to add in slowly, especially with a stock like W, where the spread is pretty wide. And after this, after 172's breakdown, I'm just trying to let the stock ride out. Ultimately, my target would have been 162, but it's a high spread stock and the volume wasn't that great. So I kind of ran out of patience, I'm not gonna lie. But my best cover was 165. So I missed 3 more points to a downside. But in terms of patience wise, I'm pretty happy with myself that I'm able to hold through this kind of breakdown. And it's like literally, this is literally like tick by tick, like slow drip down. Near the end of the day, I went for a short because the market was rolling over. And of course, it would have been nice to have catched, cover instead of up here, cover down there. But this is a stock that really tests your patience because of the spreads, because of the way it trades, and it's just very slow. But gives you a lot of range whether you want to long this or short this. So a lot of upside, and it moves in like $10 ranges. So Beyond Meat, I traded this one near the open. I was thinking we're gonna have a nice daily breakout, and when I didn't break out and no follow through, and we didn't break above 102s, it didn't work, so I stopped out and kind of let this stop a little bit too wide than I should have. Right, I was thinking we're gonna hold 101s and 100s. When I didn't hold, I should have gotten out a little bit earlier. So a loss on this in the opening trade. But the after hours earnings release, they did beat on earnings, but that gave me a lot of really nice opportunities. Even though after hours is smaller size, but a lot of very nice range. I had some long on, I had some short, really good opportunity if you are fast enough and know how to execute your trades in reaction to the earnings. Short here on the spikes, you can see I tried the one end of the day shorts, didn't work. So I covered before the earnings release because you never want to hold anything long or short into earnings. But I did shorted the spike here and covered into this. And when it was announced that they beat, I started longing the stock. I stopped out because I got whipped back down. I was thinking, oh no, maybe they said something else in the earnings that I had missed. When the stock whipped back up, I just relonged again and then scalped it all the way up there, and the best sell was 104s. So with earnings, you can trade it, but you have to be very disciplined and cut your losses really quick if you're wrong, whether you're long or short. So it's just all about the mechanics of trading and reacting to the news. The other stock that I traded, small winner, it never really truly broke out like I wanted it to. I thought we're gonna get a nice follow through to the upside. Same thing, same idea as Beyond. I was thinking we're gonna run into earnings because Roku has earnings later on this week, and when we didn't get that, it turned out to be scalps just because I never got the chance to add to a true breakout. I want to add into a winner, right? So when it didn't work, I stopped out the first trade, tried it again below previous day close. After we break out, I added some more, sold some into this, but I was holding half the position left. When it didn't truly break out, I stopped out. So just a small winner on this, nothing huge on Roku. The biggest winner on the day is NCLH. So I actually was late to this one because I was focusing on Roku and Beyond, but this one had a lot of downside for us. And at one point, I thought we can really retest $10. We'll see what happens tomorrow, but the perfect short would have been, of course, 12.60s, 12.80s, $13. When we didn't get that, well, we got that, but I didn't trade the stock in the beginning because I was focusing on the other stocks. So this stock was pretty much week or day, and once it breaks down this $12 area, that's where I want to join the trend to short to the downside, because once it breaks down, we're going to retest 11s. That's a lot of meat left on the bone. So I shorted here and added even bigger once we break down this 1150s range and covered into the flush. I went back for a reshort around 1170s, and with the second trade, I usually don't like to outstay just because I made money in the first trade, so I covered this and it ended up being a good call. And you can see, we tested $12 but slowly faded down again. Again, this is one of those stocks that's on my pre-market watch list. I planned out all of this and all the levels beforehand. So once market opens, I'm just reacting to the trade, even if that means I'm late. The levels and the plan is still intact. So today is one of those days that I was extremely distracted before the open and the first 10 minutes of the open. It's just kind of, sometimes that happens when there's a phone call or there's stuff going on. But so at the open, I was quite flustered, and there were a few stocks on my main watch list that I was hoping to play and I ended up missing. It's no one's fault but my own, I understand that, but it was just a little bit too much going on for me. So I had a couple of small positions. SDC is one of them, but the execution wasn't that great as I was, trying to, do a few other things at the same time. And so terrible fills, the 820s mark would have been the perfect entry. I never got the size I had wanted. I only had about a quarter size on this one. And so definitely minimized the potential gains on this trade short. This is a ticker I'm very familiar with, but the fact that I traded so poorly, it's a little bit disappointing, I will say. The other stock that I also traded a little bit early on is, I guess not that early, CPSH, and same idea as SDC, the very similar setup, but also poor execution because, didn't have the best fills and only got partial size ever over here, like tiny size. So ended up didn't making much at all. And I left so much to the downside and got stopped out over here. So overall, a tiny gain on this one. So, there were a lot going on, a lot of earnings plays, and I was dealing with a couple of things on my end. Didn't lose money, but definitely could have done a lot better execution-wise. I guess the one thing I was really happy about is MGNX. I missed everything on the front side. The clearer, breakout long front side. I missed everything there, but I did come back from during power hour and catch a couple of good trades. So I will say the trades I did during power hour were a lot better than the trades I did in the morning, both execution, sizing, and discipline wise. You can see longed here around 2020s and sold into the push, and I was out by this point because I wasn't sure if we're gonna hold this downtrend and keep on breaking down. But once we confirmed that we're indeed holding up and we're not gonna keep on breaking down, that's why I went long again. This time a lot smaller size, but I'm really happy about my entry and my sizing and selling into the push. And, didn't catch everything. It ran to $26, but my best sell was up here around 23.60s. Still not bad after a day of bad executions and coming back from power hour. It's definitely a nice way to end the day. So today is one of those frustrating days where, yes, I made money, but it should have been a lot more if not for the fact that I didn't take my profit up here around 147. The stock literally touched 146, like 90s, and then dropped. And I was thinking I want to be patient and let it work, and it just didn't work out. I did take some profit on the PayPal long. So this is an earnings winner. They gapped up to all-time highs after the close yesterday. And I was building a long position very nicely, especially during these consolidation areas. Yes, I trimmed some position just in case we are gonna dip lower, and I can always add back to my core position long. But I was building a very nice position. And yes, I did sell into this around 144.70s, but I wanted to add back because I was thinking we're gonna break above 147, 147.5s and go hit straight to 148 because the stock, the earnings was really solid and the bids were really strong. So that's why I want to let a winner run. And today was one of those days where usually it's the opposite, right? Usually it's because, I don't have the patience to let it work. Then I minimized my gains. And today is one of those days where, yes, I had the patience to let it work. But that's what led to me minimizing my gains. So it just tells you, as a day trader, you're always learning. You're never 100% right. The market is always right. You can only manage your position. So, it's still a nice win on this, but if I had taken it up here, it would have been so much bigger. And I was really trying to work on my patience on this because this was going to be a very big winner. But, you never turn a winner into a loser, only minimized gains. So, had fun trading this despite some of the frustrations up here, but overall it's a good trade. The other one is MRNA. This is one of those stocks that you've seen me play time and again in the past, so many times before. I'm very familiar with the stock and the way it trades. So, I'm just adding into my short. The stock gapped up overnight, had some news, and it was just kind of selling off at the market open. Adding into my position, trying to add into a winner, cover on the flush and cover it on way here, maybe too early of a cover, but added back after seeing that was still continuing to be weak and covered all into the sell-off. So a nice trade on this. This was a lot easier. Well, I wouldn't say easy. This was a lot more of a cleaner trade than PayPal because this is a stock I'm pretty familiar with. The last trade to end the day was Uber. So I played the earnings release. Some numbers when they were releasing was a miss, so I went shorted 31.70s, added some more 31.30s, covered into 30.70s, and tried to add back, but seeing that the bids were coming back, so I have to cover. So best cover was around 30s. Nice little tiny winner to end the day for the earnings release. So overall, really good day so far. Lots of earnings releasing and lots of plays for the large caps. Historically speaking, whenever there's a lot of earnings are the times where the small caps are really slow. So that's why recently I've been playing more of these large cap stocks, especially when there's gap ups and gap downs with earnings. So this was a nice play to end the day. Hey guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and the bad jokes. If you want to see more day trading content, make sure to subscribe and follow me on Twitter and Instagram for more. If you'd like to trade with me daily and get my free weekend watch list and trading journal, make sure to check out the links below for more resources. Stay green, stay positive, and I'll see you guys next time.